Hello, welcome to our workshop ZoteroBib, Citing Made Simple Yet Sophisticated. My name is Chris Helbling, and I'm a subject librarian at Washington University in St. Louis. You may very well already know about Zotero, which is a citation management program, which has been around since about 2008. It's an open source research and citation management program, and it's free up to a certain amount of storage, and then beyond that, there are storage plans, and you can add, for a fee, more storage, but there are also some workarounds that you can use to avoid the fee structure if you are willing to be a little bit creative. It's a very full-featured program, and there are many similar products that compete with it, such as EndNote or Mendeley, and those are two you might be familiar with. But you're here to learn about ZoteroBib, which I think of as the younger sibling to Zotero. And it is designed for a different purpose. It's more about creating a quick bibliography on the fly or a one-off works cited page. And it will also help you with creating a basic in-text citation. So while Zotero proper has many more features and is the more appropriate tool for saving sets of citations for future use, ongoing research, tracking sources over time, and keeping notes with your sources, there are great benefits for ZoteroBib's more simple functioning too. You don't have to download anything to use it, and you don't have to create an account, and it's very quick. ZoteroBib was designed as an alternative, a much better alternative, to the free citation generator sites like EasyBib or Citation Machine that students so often use. So what distinguishes ZoteroBib from these others? Well, first they are commercial products. Here's an example of one right here. This is EasyBib, and you can see that we've got ads on the side for hand cream, or you'll have whatever ads on the side, I guess depending on what you've been browsing. And then they're always going to want to upsell you to the non-free account. Whereas the interface for ZoteroBib, as you can see over here on the other side of the screen, is just nice and clean looking and spare, and there's no distractions. There are no products that they're trying to upsell to you, and there's no advertisements. And in addition, the quality of the citations that are produced is supposed to be far more accurate in ZoteroBib as well, but I have not tested that myself. But my suspicion is that that is true. ZoteroBib also has many more citation styles available compared to the typical free commercial citation generators. Their free editions typically will only have the biggies like MLA, APA, and Chicago available with their free versions, while ZoteroBib has over 9,000 citation styles available, including many in the health sciences. So those are some of the qualities that make ZoteroBib a superior option over its competitors. And of course, just, and this is true of the others, you can change over your citation style even after you have created a bibliography, and it works on any device, and that would include phones and tablets, and it's compatible with any browser. So I've got a few slides I'd like to show you to highlight some of the functioning, and I don't know, I think it'll be a little bit more streamlined than going back and forth between some slides and some browser activity. And so I think that'll be, like I said, a little bit more streamlined, and then we'll pause so that you can go and practice it on your own. So like I said, you don't have to download anything or create an account. And so then you must ask yourself then, okay, well, where do I create the bibliography, and where does it live? And so, as you can see on the screen, the bibliography that you create basically just lives in your browser at that website at zbib.org. And so if you were going to start creating a bibliography, you would just go to zbib.org and you will see exactly what I see on my screen right now, which is a blank, essentially a blank canvas waiting for you to fill it out. ZoteroBib works best when you are entering items by numerical identifier. So you can see that right here in the search box, I guess for lack of a better term, it's prompting you then to add a URL, so a web address, an ISBN from a book, a DOI, so a digital object identifier from an online object, usually an article, a PubMed ID, or an archive ID. Or you can also use the title, or you can enter manually, of course. That's always an option, but it really does work fantastic with these numerical identifiers that go along with items. So once there you are. So it's just this blank canvas as is sitting there right now, waiting for you to enter the items that you would like to cite. And as you were going along, you can see here that it starts to build your bibliography. So this is a bibliography that I have begun building. So I have entered a few items here. And you can see it's still the same address. But here it has started to build my bibliography, just down here at the bottom. And so I can keep opening browser tabs, going wherever I want to go. And I can even close this tab. But then every time I open a tab at that address, it'll have these sources that I have added to a bibliography. And so there's a more focused view of the bibliography that I've created. And so as I said, it will stay in your browser. But then you can also get a link to that version that's living in your browser. And by that, you could save it somewhere sort of temporarily because it will, like when I say it lives in your browser, it's sort of a temporary home. It will live there up to 6 months. But then if you wanted to share that bibliography that you have been creating, you can get a link to it. And you can see right here, you can get a URL and then send that to somebody so that they can also see it and see what sources you've been collecting. And so this is what I was saying earlier. So it works best when you are adding items by these identifying numbers, but you certainly can add it manually or an item by title. So here's an example. I'm adding an item by the URL. This is, I believe, it's a set of images that I found at The Guardian. And there's the citation that's generated. I can see it sort of writ large up there. And then it adds it down here in the spot where it should be in my bibliography. And you'll notice also that I changed over from, or maybe you noticed that I changed from Chicago over to MLA. And so here is a Google Scholar search. And this canine soldiers, mascots, and stray dogs. The item that I'm interested in is this book chapter. So there's a DOI for that I can enter. But you can also see that that leads me to a page that also includes an ISBN for the ebook. So my only point with this is that, pay attention to the numbers that you select. So if you're trying to cite the chapter, make sure that you pick the number that applies to the chapter. And if you're wanting to cite the book, make sure that you pick the number that applies to the book, because that is the number that you will put into the cite box when you go back to your ZoteroBib to enter it into your bibliography. I know that you'll probably have no trouble finding ISBNs, because that's a number I think that we're more familiar with. But DOIs, I don't think that became a more common type of number to assign to articles and digital objects until about maybe 2011, I think. And so not all items will have one. And then sometimes, well, they're not always located in the same place. So in this database, which was an EBSCO platform database, you can see that that number was way down at the bottom for that article. And then in this list of brief records, it's at the very end of the citation. And I think you can see here, let's see, I believe that I've entered some of these items by the DOI. That's the reason I included that, I believe. Oh, no, I think that was just to show you the different location of DOIs. So this illustrates, okay, that here you can see how that there are over 9,000 styles available. These are, the ones that I've usually chosen. But here's also, you can see where you can change your citation style. And here's the thing, we talked about the quality of the citation. The quality of the citation that ZoteroBib pulls in can only be as good as the quality of the metadata that it sees. So, in other words, it can only pull in information as good as the information that is out there. So you can see that this O'Donnell doing their bit book, for whatever reason, whoever created that citation put Kimberly Bryce O'Donnell in all caps, and that is not the proper citation style for MLA. So you can go in and fix that. And in fact, you should go and fix that before you generate your bibliography for a paper. And all you have to do is click on that little, I think square or double piece of paper, and then you can go in and make your changes. And actually, that's also, you can see how you could go in and add other fields there if you wanted to as well. And I also mentioned too at the beginning that you can add in, or that this will help you create in-text citations, sort of a rudimentary in-text citation. So with this soldier dogs, I can click that, and then it will allow me to enter the page number, give me the preview. I can copy that and put it in my paper. So it's not doing anything fancy like adjusting the citations and changing them as I add in new ones or make changes like some of the sophisticated programs will do. Like when you're adding in citations with Zotero, it will change your bibliography to update it as you delete them. This isn't going to do anything like that, but it will give you the proper in-text citation style for the particular style that you have chosen. So you click that. Yeah, okay. So that's the basic rundown on how it works. There are additional resources that we have on our website. We have a pretty good research guide at this address, and you can certainly, this is a recording, so you can certainly pause this and jot down that URL. And Zotero's website is fantastic. They've got great resources there, and the FAQs for ZoteroBib are also excellent. one thing I should mention, I mentioned that 6 month, excuse me, I mentioned that 6 month time limit for the, that if you created a bibliography, it will live in your browser for 6 months. But if you clear out your cache and cookies before that 6 months is up, it'll wipe out that bibliography. So my advice is to not just rely simply on that 6 month, if this is an important bibliography for you, not just to rely on it hanging out in your browser, but always, before you end your session, go ahead and get a hold of that URL, like how I showed you at the beginning, to copy the URL and keep that someplace, in an email or in the place where you're taking your notes for the paper or in the assignment itself. I think that would be a best practice for this. Okay, I just want to do a quick little live demonstration before we depart, and also correct a mistake I made. When I said if you wanted to edit something, what you just need to do actually is you click on the citation itself, and then you go in and edit from there. And you click on the little piece of paper or square when you want to make your citation. So, which actually makes sense. So click on the item when you want to edit it, and click on the little piece of paper or square when you want to create your in-text citation, and then obviously click on the X if you want to delete it. Okay, so here's my bibliography. I'm in the WashU catalog. I just grabbed an ISBN from another military dog book. Put it right there. I also, and there's my citation by Ritland, and there it is right there. Okay, and so what I didn't show you in my slides is how you get this thing to your piece of paper. And oh, one other thing I didn't mention actually that's pretty important. You can see also that if you do have a Zotero account, that it is possible to export this to Zotero. So they do work in concert. I have not tried that myself yet, but since they are both made by the same organization, I think that they should work well together. But for now, let's just go ahead and copy the bibliography to the clipboard. And right now you can see I've got it in APA. Oh, and there is the link that I could create if I wanted to. And I'm all ready to receive it. And there it is. So it is pretty useful, pretty quick. No account necessary, no downloads necessary. And even though it is sort of intended for the one-time use, because you can save that link, it's kind of got a saving capability to a certain extent. And in a way, you could have more than one bibliography going at once. But I would say if you are to that stage, you probably should be using something different. But I think this is a really handy thing to use if you were just out and you're keeping a quick reading list, or maybe if you were collecting a few sources that you wanted to share right away. I think it's incredibly useful, quick, clean, simple. So give it a go, and please try those links, try the resources. And as I said, the Zotero.org website is very, very good, and our guide is quite good too. And so if you just go to the library website, let me get back there. It's just you can go to our research guides and type in Zotero, and you'll get there. And my email address was on the front slide of this presentation, and you can try our 24/7 chat service. And there are quite a few of us who would be able to help you with using Zotero, getting started using it, or using ZoteroBib. But I think both of them are meant to be user-friendly. They're pretty self-explanatory.